Y'all keep coddling these kids, especially these boys, and y'all making them feminine. Y'all making them weak. Y'all making them weak. You don't want him to work. You want him to go to school. He can do both. He shouldn't have to buy his own car. Why not? He'll appreciate it more. The reason why they don't give a piss about every pair of shoes that you buy them is because they've never had to earn them on their own. It meant so much more to me when I had to buy it with my own money. I took pride in it. I appreciated it. The hours that I had to put into to build whatever it is that I needed to build in order to get the resources to buy it, it means more. Stop coddling your kids. You don't owe them anything. Men need to suffer. They have to go through things. Money and kids. There has been an argument that's been going on, seems like relentlessly, with different people that continue to tell me about what generational wealth really means. I find it funny. I find it hilarious, but they keep talking to me about what generational wealth really means. And when I explain to them that generational wealth is more or less a subset of what the original goal is, which is to prevent yourself from really giving as much money as you can to the IRS. But people keep saying that they're doing it for their kids. And I'm saying that you're incredibly mistaken. But I want to go over something specifically in an article that I found that I think is pretty interesting. I think that we can learn something from it. I think that it's an interesting dilemma that I found that I think that people can learn something from it. And so in this specific article, the guy is writing in and he's saying, let me check out my man Jeffy. Jeff said everything on point as usual. Always, family, always. So the guy writes in and says, I have an $8.5 million estate, 9 kids. I have no idea how this man was able to amass $8.5 million with 9 kids. 3 of whom have not proven to be responsible. Should I cut them out of my will? He says 1 child is a gambler, another left home at 16, and the other tried to shake me down for money. Yo, all right, come on, y'all. Let's get into it. It says, I'm not going to read the response. I haven't read the response. I married my girl from high school in 1972. Sound like Anton Daniels, except I did mine in 2004. I married my girl from high school. Anton married Rita from high school. We graduated and she went to medical school. She graduated and has worked as a doctor since 1978. I worked in computers. Sounds like these dudes is getting it. They are getting it. We went from having less than $4,000 to $8.5 million. They invested in themselves. We are old and our pleasure is planting, which is his wife's pleasure, and travel, which is his pleasure. Sound like me and Rita for real. As Minnesota is cold. Minnesota is one of the coldest places that I've ever been to, ladies and gentlemen. We also spent our time working on the farm. We had 2 birth children and adopted 7 children. Okay, so it's making more sense now. So they had 2 children intentionally, and then they adopted the 7 other children. So they're like, yo, we want to pour into people. That was one of the things that Rita and I had considered also. Rita and I had considered adopting because we was like, you know what? There's so many kids out here that need a home and all of this other type of stuff. Maybe we can do it that way by leaving the earth as a better place as a result of it by adopting some kids. Ultimately, we opted against it and had our own 1 child, and then we went from there. But let's continue. Says they adopted. With our estate, my wife and I split things equally. She wants $500,000 to go to our church. I do not have a problem with that, even though we have supported it and paid a faithful tithe for 49 years together. Do y'all know what tithes are? Paying a tenth, 10% of what your earnings to the church. Whole nother conversation. But he don't have a problem with leaving $500,000 to the church. All right. Women always want to take care of people. You know how it is. Our 2 eldest children work in a hospital, and our 3rd eldest got a religious degree and did missionary work overseas for 12 years and is now sort of a paraprofessional. So the 2 oldest work in a hospital and the 3rd oldest got a religious degree, did missionary work. All right. 2 other children are living in properties that I bought for them. What did I tell y'all about this? Stop. Well, let's read the rest of the article. That I bought for them. Sir says, different world, he blew $14 million. Remember Daryl M. from a different world, he blew $14 million of his late father's business. Not all kids can be trusted. Just because y'all give them a bunch of money don't necessarily mean that y'all gonna help. Y'all ever watch that movie called Horrible Bosses? And then the dude inherited his dad's estate, and he was having prostitutes, and he had fired the dude that was in a wheelchair. Good morning, Randy. Let's see. I would like to give my eldest son double what I give the other kids. This reminds me of the story about the talents in the Bible. But I would like to exclude 3 of my children from my will for 3 different reasons. Nobody know your kids like you. Gambling, yes, exclude them. Leaving home at 16, woo, somebody holding a grudge. And trying to shake me down for money. Long story. Oh, no, you're not going to shake me down for money. My wife wants me to change my mind with one of my children who declined to pursue an education and has been holding down a job. If not a very well-paid job, must the assets be divided equally? What's your take on this, father of 9 in Minnesota? Ooh wee. I don't like it. Why do we feel obligated to give our kids anything? Is one thing that I'm trying to understand. You gave them everything they needed in order to be the adult that they are. You gave them all the tools. You gave them the understanding. You gave them a foundation in church. They said they've been in church for over 49 years tithing. You gave them a good example of what it is that they were supposed to be, but some people just can't get right, y'all. Good morning, Eli. I appreciate you for tapping in. Some people just cannot get right. My advice to this man, this elderly gentleman, while he still has some wits about him, is to completely cut out the people that he don't want to give money to, because you don't owe nobody nothing. You don't owe anybody nothing. The people that can use and utilize and have proven themselves to be worthy, those are the ones that you want. Those are the ones that you want to entrust whatever it is that you've amassed to them. For the rest of them, you don't owe them anything. And I keep telling y'all keep coddling these kids, especially these boys, and y'all making them feminine. Y'all making them weak. You don't want him to work. You want him to go to school. He can do both. He shouldn't have to buy his own car. Why not? He'll appreciate it more. The reason why they don't give a piss about every pair of shoes that you buy them is because they've never had to earn them on their own. It meant so much more to me when I had to buy it with my own money. I took pride in it. I appreciated it. The hours that I had to put into to build whatever it is that I needed to build in order to get the resources to buy it, it means more. Stop coddling your kids. You don't owe them anything. Men need to suffer. They have to go through things. And you know the thing that I've learned in my lifetime? I read a comment. Somebody said my show would be better if I wasn't drinking. I'm still going to drink. But I've learned something specifically in my lifetime. These dudes out here, they're never going to be what you want them to be unless you let them go through something. You gotta let them go through something. I remember my Jasmine that was on my live stream the other day. I remember when we were younger, because she came around a long time ago. She's my sister-in-law now. I just call her my sister. She used to be complaining that the boys got to do everything that they wanted to do, or they was always out and they was playing basketball. We was doing we was out. Like we was out hanging at night and stuff like that, and the girls had to stay on the porch. They protected the girls, and she was like, why do boys always get to do what they want to do, what the girls don't? So that you can have this great life that you got right now. So that you can have this great life and you can be protected. They was protecting you from yourself. But the boys needed to have some backbone. They needed to have a little bit of oomph. They needed to suffer. They needed to go through some things. They needed to scrape their knee and then not cry and get up and just walk away without putting a Band-Aid on. Let that blood run down that knee for a little bit, little homie, before you get home. And then your mama got to put some peroxide on it, and then she kiss your little boo-boo.